Welcome to today's lesson on plant defense responses. In this session, we will explore the intricate systems that plants use to protect themselves from various threats. In our lesson today, we will discuss the three main types of plant defense mechanisms: physical barriers, chemical defenses, and mechanical adaptations. We will delve into specific examples of each type of defense and understand their significances in safeguarding plants from pathogens and herbivores. So far, you have learned about plant pathogens and human defense responses. This has given you a solid foundation in understanding the types of threats that both plants and humans face, as well as the basic principles of biological defense mechanisms. Building on this foundation, exploring plant defense responses will advance our biological understanding by revealing how plants, which lack an immune system like that of humans, can effectively protect themselves through innovative strategies. This insight is not only fascinating, but also crucial for developing better agricultural practices and improving crop resilience. Plants, much like animals, have developed a variety of defense mechanisms in order to protect themselves against pathogens and herbivores. Plant defenses can be broadly categorized into physical defenses, chemical defenses, and mechanical adaptations. Let's now dive into each category. Plants have several physical barriers that prevent pathogens from entering and causing disease. Most plant leaves and stems are covered by a waxy layer called the cuticle. This layer acts as a barrier, preventing water loss and blocking pathogens from entering the plant. The only place that pathogens can enter is through small openings called stomata, which the plant uses for gas exchange. Each plant cell is surrounded by a sturdy cell wall, which is made of cellulose. This cell wall provides structural support and acts as a second line of defense against pathogens. If a pathogen manages to get past the waxy cuticle, it will still need to penetrate the cell wall in order to infect the plant. In trees, bark serves as a tough outer layer that protects the inner tissues from pathogens. Bark is thick and often has additional protective compounds within that further avert infections. Apart from physical barriers, plants have also evolved to produce various chemical compounds that can further fight off pathogens and deter herbivores. Some plants can produce chemicals that have antibacterial properties. These chemicals can inhibit the growth of or kill bacteria that try to invade the plant. To deter herbivores from eating them, some plants produce poisons. These toxins can affect various systems in animals, making the plants unpalatable or harmful to consume. In addition to physical and chemical defenses, some plants have developed mechanical adaptations to protect themselves from being eaten by herbivores. Some plants, like cacti, have thorns that can injure animals that are trying to eat them. Other plants have tiny hairs on their surfaces that can irritate or trap insects. This prevents the insect feeding on them. Some plants have leaves that can droop or curl when they are touched. This movement can dislodge insects or present a less appetizing target to herbivores. For example, this mimosa plant rapidly folds its leaves when touched. Some plants can visually mimic other organisms or present deceptive signals in order to trick herbivores. For instance, certain plants may mimic the appearance of dead or diseased plants, thus convincing herbivores that they are not a good food source. In today's lesson, we explored how plants defend themselves against pathogens and herbivores. We discussed physical defenses such as tough cell walls, waxy cuticles and bark that block pathogens, as well as structures like thorns that deter herbivores. We also examined chemical defenses, including antimicrobial substances and toxic secondary metabolites that protect against attackers. Additionally, we covered mechanical adaptations, such as plants closing their leaves or dropping infected parts in order to limit damage. These sophisticated defense mechanisms highlight how plants survive in hostile environments and they have important applications in agriculture for improving disease resistance and ensuring food security.